Welcome. Great to see everybody here to the 1% Club. It is July. I don't even, what is the date today, anyways, man? It's July 23rd. And of course, I'm getting all kinds of messages about people going to Dallas build this week, Salem, Portland, Oregon build this week, LA build this week. Phones blowing up. We're getting killer guests. I want to encourage all of you to invite somebody last second. People go. We literally are getting people every single day. I'll buy a Southwest flight. I'm there. I'm there. I'll Uber to the event. I'm there. What better place to check us out? So it's a pretty exciting week. Just talked to Dave Kennord. He's out in the doing the out in New Jersey. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name. It's called the Crystal Resort out there. Everyone's super pumped, and he's getting a great turnout. Dallas is crushing it. LA's crushing it. Everybody's excited. Detroit, I was talking to Kurt Shewell. I mean, we're just on fire. The build at sea in Orlando sold out. So keep going, keep pushing. Even if they tell you it's sold out, show up and they will sell you a ticket. Well, let's get going with today. Could be more excited. I have a special guest today. He has been in real estate for a while. Used to be a pastor, still is. Once a pastor, always a pastor. Loves the Lord. But he got into real estate and shocker, became super successful. And now he's with EXP. And so Chris Craddock, welcome to the 1% Club. I'm glad to have you on.
Man, super pumped to be here.
Right on. Let me turn up your volume. I couldn't hear you that good. Okay, so awesome. Now tell everyone where you live. Where are you from, Chris?
I'm in the DC area. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you better now.
Okay.
It was on my end.
I'm in the DC area, although we're living at our lake house for the month of July, and I've got my 6 kids and my sister's 3 kids and my brother's 3 kids. So I've tried to find a corner where I'm not going to be mauled while we're
I love it. Hey, getting mauled by your kids is a good thing. Real quick, tell people your story. I didn't prep you for this, but tell them the Chris Craddock story. Where'd you grow up? How'd you end up in being a pastor and youth ministry? And then how'd you get into real estate? What's that look like? Give us that 30,000 foot Cliff Note version.
Yeah, no, I was a total mess growing up. Literally, FBI came to my house because we stole my best friend's FBI agent's dad's gun to sell drugs to our school as an 8th grader, which is crazy because I'm like, I look at my 8th grader now and I'm like, that's nuts. But once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur, I guess. And then life was changed through Young Life, love Young Life, and so I went on staff with Young Life. My wife got pregnant in 2003 and living on $25,000 a year did not work. So I went to the library and checked out every book I could find on real estate investing and read them and just started knocking on doors of people going to foreclosure and made 12 times what I made in a year in about 4 months and used that to just continue doing ministry. I stopped flipping houses. I just did that. And then I guess 2010, all my money had run out as I had more kids. I mean, it's like, you know what kids are like, it's like put it in a bathtub and pull the plug. Right. And so 2010, I was doing everything I could to like tearing out basements that flooded the carpet down there. I tried to sell my blood to NIH for $300 to buy Christmas presents for my family. I'm like,
that's legit.
And then, so I was like, man, I flipped houses before. Why don't I just do that? So I started doing that again. And at that time, everything was a short sale. So I got licensed to flip my own short sales. But in ministry, I always led like very, very large groups of people. And so, I read the Red Book and I just saw that there's a system, Gary Keller's book. And so I saw there was a system to build a team and make a lot of money. And so I started building a team and yeah, that was it. Here we go.
And that was it. And then you came to EXP from Keller Williams. How long ago?
It was, I guess it's about 2.5 years now.
Now your story fascinates me because you did not come for the rev share. You did not come for the stock. That's the only reason I came, and really just for the revenue share. But you came for, I believe, the collaboration because we had succeeded in so many big ballers who were at EXP. Is that about right, or do I have that wrong?
Yeah, so we had expanded into a couple markets and our expansion was really good. And I was at KW, and the problem though was the one where we had the biggest expansion team, and it was, I mean, it was really, really good. They changed team leaders at their market center, and the whole thing just blew up. Like, everybody that was capping kept getting, like, it just got nasty, messy. And so my whole team was like, they're just like, this is terrible. We hate this here. And then we had other team leaders, like fighting us over, people coming over that were at other market centers and to join our team. And it just became a mess. And I just saw that like EXP was just like super flat and streamlined instead of like all these like warring parties over who gets the commissions from like the market centers. And it just made sense. And also, the other thing, so I was looking at that at the same time. I had two of my agents come to me, and one of the things I always say to my agents is that like they're my clients, all the other stuff there, and they were just saying to me, "Hey, Chris, at Keller Williams, you can build a big team, but we've been looking, like two of my best buds that are like my agents, they're like, we've been looking at this EXP thing, and it looks like we can build, maybe not like a team that sells like in production, but we could build like a brokerage like with you, and we can all be business partners together. And I think, you always say you want us to live a bigger life. This would probably be a better way to have us all live a bigger life." And I was like, that's when and I'll tell you the truth. Like, I had a number of people talking to me about EXP, and they were just talking a lot of trash about KW. But for me, going from like selling my blood for $300 to, I became a multimillionaire many, many, many times over because my team was really successful. I was like, I'm super loyal. Like, you're speaking the wrong person. I
I
am.
want to do a timeout real quick there.
Yeah.
Don't talk trash about Keller Williams, Remax, Real, LPT, Epic, Sotheby's. Never, ever talk trash about the competition. Always take the high road. It is unattractive. I don't know what they're doing, but here's what we're doing. It just, I've heard they're nice people, but here's what we're doing. And we'd love you to come with us. I just want to do a little time out there because it was a turnoff for Chris as they were attacking the very company that had really helped him go from selling his blood to buy Christmas presents to becoming a multimillionaire many times over. He's got an amazing story, you guys. Okay, keep going. I didn't keep going. You're doing good.
Yeah, no. So that was it. They were going after, and so when my guys that I cared about came in and said, "Hey, this is good for us," like, I'm a loyal guy, and all of a sudden I was like, "Man, my loyalty needs to be to my people, not to a brokerage." And that was when I was like, "What's the best thing for my people?" And that was when, the combo of the stuff going on with the expansions, and then those guys coming and saying that, I was like, all right, no brainer. Let's do it. So that was it.
I love it. I love it. Okay, you guys, I have to do this. And I'm gonna ask Chris about what he's doing with agent attraction because he's hasn't even tried and he's done very well because he's just a loving kind of person. But I was listening to John Maxwell and he was going over the verse, the most famous verse in the Bible. I'll just say it quick. You've all seen it, sports, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son who should not perish, have everlasting, but believe in him, not perish, have everlasting life. But he went back, he did the very first sentence. For God so loved the world. That means he loves the Democrats and the Republicans. He loves Trump and he loves the new person, Harris. It's like, and so I think it's important. We need to be lovers, not haters. If you find yourself getting all worked up because, man, those doggone conservatives or those doggone libs, it's unattractive. Like, back away from the political vileness of the moment and be bigger, be about love. And I think it's one of Chris's magic secrets to success. He's a very loving guy. He's very attractive. How do you become an attractive personality? Love people, love everyone, love people that could do nothing for you. The barista, the busboy, speak into their life, whoever they are, But so, Chris, you've obviously sold a lot of real estate. You have a team, but you've been here for a while. You didn't get focused on agent attraction till when? How many months ago or a year ago or what was it?
Well, I started to think about it right before the market, like when interest rates tripled. So I was literally like, somebody said something and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then interest rates tripled. And I was like, you know what? my team's super profitable. I make really good money for my team. I'm going to keep doing that. And then I'm also a very high eye on the disc profile. I like to do things with people. Like I own a title company, and I could have owned the whole thing, but I like a partner, right? And so one of my best friends, Rob Chavez, came over. And when Rob came over, I was like, man, I got somebody to run with. This is great. And so he came over, I guess it was like 5 months ago, something like that. And, since then we've been all in. And I mean, man, we've got a bunch, like we've had, like, we're slowly having the trickle come through. I think I just looked, I'm like at 146 or 149 people right now. So like the people are coming through, but we've got like, I mean, on our hit list, we've got like, I think something like 600 people that are
Yeah.
open to the conversation, that we've had either conversations with them or the head of the brokerage that is in conversation with EXP that looks like we're trying to bring over.
Do you feel like the dam's about to burst, like that earthen dam? It's like all that pressure, also it's about to, because you've just organically grown your business, but now you're being a little bit more intentional. Is that a good word? Purposeful?
Well, Brent, this is so funny. So Rob and I came in, like Brent was so gracious. It's so fun. Like Rob and I went and hung out with Brent and at his place. And I'll tell you, I think I said this to you, Brent, but if I did, I'll just say it. So Rob was slightly disappointed because like I think he was like expecting like the Bat Cave with like computer screens everywhere and like all the like Minority Report stuff. And like Brent basically runs his business on two whiteboards. And I was like super pumped because I'm not a tech guy. I'm like, let's go talk to people. I'm like, this is great. And Rob was like, man, just like that. But here was the funny thing, because when I got in, everybody said, oh, if you want to make money with EXP, you missed it. It was 5 years ago. And as Brent was telling his story about just meeting with people, meeting with leaders, just be consistent and do it, it works. And here's the funny thing. So when I was on Young Life staff, I was mentored by a guy named Rick Beckwith, who built a massive group, one of the biggest groups in the whole, worldwide ministry. And everybody, when I started, like, I just was like, well, I'm going to do whatever Rick tells me to do because it works. And everybody's like, oh, Joe Gibbs, who is the coach of the Redskins, his son was involved and they had Young Life at Joe Gibbs's house. And he was like, that's why Rick's stuff was so big. And Chris, it's not the 80s anymore. There's no way stuff doesn't work like that. Like you've missed your time. And it was so funny because like everybody just told me it didn't work. But I just was like, listen, I'm just going to do what he told me to do. And we did. And sure enough, like within a year, we had the biggest organization in the organization on the whole East Coast, because I just did what he told me to do. And everybody else was saying how the time has passed and it didn't work. And then Brent was talking, he's like, just go meet with people, meet with them, look for the leaders, which was exactly what Rick told me to do. Like find leaders and the leaders will lead people. And that's how you build something big. And I'm like, Brent, like, it's just not rocket science. Like meet with leaders, have a relationship, and then let leaders lead people. And I'm like, holy crap, it's just the same thing.
It's interesting that you say that. By the way, the leaders are very gettable right now. When the market's on fire and interest rates are 1.9% and they've never made so much money in their right now, a lot of those leaders aren't in production and their teams are not where they need to be because of the market. And so they're suffering. They are pain will cause people to become open-minded. Maybe I should do something. Maybe I should quit drinking. Maybe I should go to marriage counseling. I'm having pain in my marriage. Maybe I should, there's a lot of maybes going on when they, and so now is a great time. I was just talking to somebody who's very close to John Cheplack, and he told that person, he said, I've noticed every leader of every big team, and I think John Cheplack makes 16 million a year now coaching. He's like become one of the top coaches. He goes, I've noticed that for the most part, if the leader had quit selling and the team was rocky, but now that's pulled back, the tide's gone out, those leaders are really suffering. And the ones who are prospering right now are actually selling real estate. They're doing listings, not all the way across the board, but for the most part. And so you take people you either think are unrecruitable, they've been at Remax or Keller Williams or Berkshire or the agency, but if they've kind of pulled out of sales and relied upon their team, the team is not Mama Bear and Papa Bear, they're suffering, and so the leader's suffering. So who you think is not gettable, I'm telling you right now, I felt this, and John Cheplack confirmed it because he's got hundreds of big teams. They're absolutely gettable right now. Chris, what are some of your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I'm thinking about one. So this was one of the things where I think I heard, and I'll just share this too. So Brent told me what he does. And I literally, that night I went to bed and I was like, oh, I might do it this way instead or this way instead. And I'm laying in bed, and obviously Brent is the best that does what we do, right? Like he has the biggest line in anybody in our industry, right? And as I was laying in bed, I'm like, Chris, why are you such an idiot? Like, the person who's the best at what he does told me what to do, and I'm trying to do it differently. Like, that's just stupid. Like that is like the total opposite of wisdom, right? That's stupid. That's foolishness, right? And so then one of the things Brent said, which I hear everybody else say, is talk to people about how being in the world with other people will help their production. Brent's like, no, go after the people that want to build a business and build the rev share. And so, the first person I talked to is this KW agent that I've known for a number of years. She has a team, and I'd been talking to her for a long time just because we've been friends, whatever. And we've been talking about how production will be better and everything else. And I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to talk production. Brent told me to talk about people like, why am I going to rethink it? Right. And so I said something to her, and she's like, Chris, she's like, I've just been hitting my head against the wall because, I make good money. I have my team, but I'm realizing that if I do this, I'm going to be in the same position I was 15 years ago in the next 15 years. And I was just thinking, I need to find a way to no longer be the person in production, but the person that can lead. And what you're talking about right now changes my game, that now I'm like a regional owner of a Keller Williams region versus like a team leader that has to do production in order to stay profitable. She's like, this is interesting. And literally I think we're on the like 5-yard line to, she's basically committed to coming over. We just have some like minor things that we got to work through. But that was like one of the big things that I saw when I just started talking about, changing the game. Right. So yeah, I thought that was really good.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to switch gears here. I have another guest speaker coming on, and Chris, you're welcome to hang out. But I will say this, Chris, you hear me say it till you're blue in the face, but it's true. It's not magic, it's motion. And then when I needed a breakthrough in 1996, my broker goes, man, find a way. Will it to happen. Get people in your car, hand them the Thomas Guide map. We had maps, and have them, I need you to help me find the next house, and here's a cup of coffee, and read the darn map, and we'll get there without me reading the driving and trying to read the map. And I'm like, but how do I do that? I'm new. Big sign. I'm new. How do I get them in my car? He goes, I don't know. That's your problem. You figure it out. And I did. I figured it out. I begged, borrowed, scratched. I was hungry. Your hunger is your greatest asset. And I started getting people in my car showing property. And he says, if they'll look, they'll buy. And lo and behold, my business exploded because I willed it to happen. Agent attraction is the same way. Stop sending the video. Never, ever send the, EXP, the EXP video, the one I made or whatever video you like to use. Go meet with them in person. You don't email your marketing presentation to the seller and go, did I get it? You get your butt and you drive an hour or two across town. You spend an hour or two with them. You drive back, high five yourself. You get a signed listing contract. You're all fired up. It's the same thing. It's eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button. You're feeling their pheromones. They're feeling your pheromones. You're excited. You're more excited than they are negative. And they go, well, you're kind of weird. Yep. And it totally works. It worked at my open houses. People go, man, you're different. You're not like all the other old do the sign-in sheet. Can I help you find a house? Boring, So, man, if what you're doing isn't working, up the temperature, up the tempo, and up the contacts. This is a contact sport. Meet with somebody every day for coffee. Meet with somebody every day for coffee. Buy them lunch. Take them to Fleming's if they're a big high-end prospect. Take them to Mastro's Steak and take them to Prime. Take them to Eddie V's. On the good ones, spend some money on them, man. And I remember, I'll say this, and then we're going to bring our guest speaker up. I had a woman call me. She was from Country Ride Home Loans. Yes, when they were still a company back in the 90s. And she said, hey, can I buy you lunch? Nobody offered to buy me lunch. I'm like, sure. She bought me lunch. And then she talked to me about loans. She did the next 200 loans for me. How valuable was the lunch? Can you buy someone a steak dinner at Ruth Chris or Eddie V's? Because they're like, man, Andrew Avalos is spending money on me. Coach Bill Rep is taking me to a steakhouse, and ask him, where's your favorite steakhouse? They go, Cattleman's. I'm like, cool, let's go to Cattleman's. Don't take them to Ruth Chris. They're uncomfortable in that kind of environment. They're comfortable at Cattleman's. Go to Cattleman's. Don't take them where you think, where's your favorite restaurant? It's a sushi place. It's called Makuni. Good. I want to take you to Makuni. I want to have a serious talk about your future. Like, okay, to bend my arm. Enough said. Chris, thank you for sharing. That was awesome. How many on your front line now do you have sponsored on your front line, roughly?
I just pulled this up. So frontline is 48.
And you got 140 something in your group.
Yeah, 146. Yeah.
I can promise you, if you stay the course, you'll add a zero and you'll have 1,400. I can absolutely promise you. I can promise you rev share will grow to 1 million. You're going to lose control of it in a positive way. Okay. Awesome job, Chris Craddock from DC, from the East Coast. Now I'm bringing on from the West Coast, the one and only, the amazing, one of my favorite human beings on the planet, Casey Council Jiha. I got to get that right. Casey, welcome to the big show. Good to have you on.
Hey, Brent, thanks for having me on.
Awesome. So Casey's my second guest speaker on the second half. She was meeting with some high-end planners, but she's off, and she goes, I can join you for the last half. I'm like, thank you. So Casey, real quick, what is some of your, before I get into agent attraction, what is some of your philosophy on what it takes to become successful? Because you have succeeded in business after business. You've kind of had that. What is your philosophy just about success? Like, what does it take?
Yeah, it's two questions. What are you telling yourself and what are you telling other people? Because the answer to those two questions, what are you telling yourself and what are you telling other people, is going to be, your results cannot be anything other than what that is. And so for me, one of the things that's been a pinnacle of my success, and just a foundational piece rather, is if I'm not clear on my vision and I'm not able to communicate it, nobody else is able to see themselves in my vision. And therefore there is nothing outside of me ever. And so those two questions, what am I telling myself and what am I telling other people, have been how I've built everything, and being really intentional about what the answers to those questions are.
That is awesome. I want to hit that real quick. What is your vision? I met with a mega superstar commercial guy in San Francisco, San Jose yesterday. Clark Broom gave him our new commercial video I just made with Paul Frank last week. The old one was like 3 years old, totally outdated and incorrect information. So Paul and I got together last week and made a new one. Clark Broom, who's on here listening, he sent it to a guy. Let's not say the company or the guy's name, but he is like a game changer. And on that, he watched the video, and then Clark was smart, also sent him the Mark Del Preti video. And he's, on, comparing all the companies, and the guy got so excited. And what I told him is, I've been praying for somebody for the San Francisco, San Jose Bay Area, the right person. I go, and we got hundreds of people there, but I think you're the right person. And we want to put money, time. So that's what Casey's talking about here, putting a vision, like, what is it you want to do? And you being more excited than they are negative. Your positive is more positive than they're negative. You drag them, they're going to drag you to their side of the fence, negative, freaked out, scared, what's the future hold, or you drag them to your side of the fence, man. It's blue sky. Follow me, man. Yeah, there'll be some storms, but I know where I'm going. Let's go together. You want to go fast? Go alone. You want to go far? Let's go together. So, Casey, back to you. Some more thoughts on success. So, I love that. What are you saying to yourself? And what are you telling other people about your vision that makes room for them? I think a lot of people beat themselves up internally. I don't see, oh, there you are, Casey. You spun on my screen. I thought I lost you. What do you think people tell themselves? Like, seriously, oh yeah, what you tell yourself? What do you think? You've been around a lot of people. What do you think people are telling themselves for the majority of the time? The average
I think the majority of people are questioning themselves versus telling themselves the thing that's going to create the outcome they want to create. And the truth is, how you create outcomes that you want to create is you have to speak the future into existence long before it exists. And so it requires redirecting the conversation and choosing the conversation with myself that is going to support the outcome that I want to create. And if there's another conversation that comes in, that conversation gets to come in and go out just as fast as it came in, because it's going to take me away from creating the outcome that I'm looking to create.
I love it. What do you do when you meet toxic, negative people, agents or brokers? When you meet them, do you try to convert them? Do you try to or what do you do? How do you handle that kind of a person?
I bless and release as fast as possible and then go take a shower.
I knew it. I knew it. You guys, you are not going to, it's going to take a lot of time. She's right. You can't afford the juju, the negative juju, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a woman that ended up, she was an EXP orphan, and I know we don't call them that, but whatever. She was going through the interview process with us, and she was so toxic. I said, you know what? Here's the deal. I know what you want to create, and you don't have any skills right now to do it. And it's going to be the hardest thing that you ever do. And you're going to suck at it for a really long time until you don't suck at it. And then once you stop sucking at it, you're going to be marginally okay. And if you stick with it, you're going to build skills over time. And what's going to be determined if that lasts for months or if it lasts for years before that shifts for you is how much action are you willing to take and the amount of time that we're looking at. And she was just like, her eyes got big as saucer. She's like, yeah, I don't know if this is what I really want to do. And I was like, okay, well, now you know the truth. So that was my exit out of the conversation, because that is in fact true. Right. And it's, when we look at what's possible and what you can create, most people have never really experienced that kind of ownership of their life and their time, and not had a conversation in their mind about month and money. And so the idea of having month and money conversations go away and not be a part of an internal dialogue anymore, of like, of course, who wouldn't want that? However, there's a price to pay to get that. And the price is going to be the skills that are going to be required for you to become great at your craft, just like anything else. And there are people who will jump in the deep end of the pool and take a lot of action in a short period of time and crush that learning curve. However, most people want to see how it goes, and so they'll attempt to like pace themselves and not, because they don't want to fall on their face. But I have a philosophy: the faster you fall on your face and the more often you fall on your face, your muscles about how quick you get up are strengthened. And like, look at any sport, look at any professional athlete, anybody that succeeds at a high level is all about their recovery time and how you shorten the refractory period of recovery time. And so when you become that, but to have recovery time, you got to fall on your face. And so if you can shorten that refractory period and you shorten it over and over and over and over and over again, pretty soon, like, it's like, oh, did I just fall? No, I just got better. Oh yeah, I guess I fell because there was a refractory period, but it was so much shorter than it was the last time. And, I haven't lost my own personal momentum or pace because of it. Whereas some people, will just let the conversation become about themselves and then go into self-preservation. And I'm feeling sorry for myself. And this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. You got to get a hold of your internal. You got to build the internal before you can build the external. And I think a lot of people are like, I'm going to miss. Like when you're shooting, it's going to be a brick, and it's a brick. What does Michael Jordan say? Nothing but net. What's Tiger Woods say? It's going to go left. It's going to curve back right. Then a little subtle left, and bam, it's going to go in the back of the cup. That's way better than it's going to brick. And I think so often on listing appointments, on working with buyers, they'll probably look at property with me for a year and up buying new construction. I won't even earn any money. You know, what do we say? No, you can't think like that, right? And on listings, you got to go, I'm going to show property. They're going to get excited. We're going to go back to the office, write an offer. I'm going to have it in escrow by tonight. You got to get control of the outcome. You got to play the game before you play the game. And so I love sports. I was a sports guy. I still am a sports guy. I relate to that. Casey, so good. Any final thoughts today as we wrap this up? We are up against the hour. Advice for people if they want to make it big, come to Cabo, come to Build. What one thing people could do right here that could maybe really make a big difference for them this week? Any advice?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that haven't made a decision, and the word decide means death to all other options. And so when you make a decision and you put a stake in the ground of like, this is what's happening, and I'm willing to go through whatever it's going to take for that to happen, and then you surrender to whatever that process is going to be, and you get up every day and you do it, those are the people that succeed, and they succeed at really high levels because they stay out of their own way. But most people are afraid to actually make a decision and have it be death to all other options. It's like, well, I've got this chicken exit back here, this back door over here. If this doesn't happen, I can always do that. And that kind of a mindset is never going to create like a winning success strategy, because you're never all the way in if you haven't made a decision. So I think the number one thing that people can do is make a decision. And maybe that decision is, hey, where I want to go next, this current version of me is not going to get there. So the deciding is it's a death to the version of Casey that exists today. And what's the 3.0 version? Because I got to today in 2.0. And maybe that's your decision. Or maybe your decision is, you know what? I am going to go in on all in on my real estate business. I'm going to be willing to do whatever it takes. There's a kid that, oh my God, he's 24 years old. He's been in the business 8 months. I just had a recruiting call with him. And he's done 22 deals and he's got 6 in escrow. And I said, what are you doing to get all that business? And he goes, oh, I don't let myself speak to less than 100 people per week. And I feel like I'm failing. I'm like, well, 8 months, 22 deals closed, 6 in escrow. I'm like, but that's how he thinks, because he made a decision and he's in, right? And so you know when someone's made a decision.
Is he in Palm Springs?
No, he's not.
Oh, we have some 20-year-old in Palm Springs who just signed up like 80 people. He's 20. He's going absolutely freaking berserk. You can make excuses or you can make dust. Let's go make some dust. Come on, you guys. So make those internal decisions. Get around positive, crazy people that are going somewhere full of love. Speak highly of everybody. And do your thing and create momentum. So this has been a really great 1% Club. Chris Craddock, I saw that you stayed on. Thanks for hanging out. And Casey, amazing job. I'm going to start in 5 minutes with what I think is the best 10 minutes of mastering sales I've ever done in my life. I am completely prepared. I'm going to freak some of you out that could stay around. Some of you got to go. Clark Broom, before we hang this up, Clark, if you're still there, I don't see him. Oh, yeah, you are. Can you post the new commercial EXP Explained in the chat for these guys? And if you've got to go, what?
Yeah, it's actually on BrentGove.com.
And I already posted it here in the chat, Brent.
Oh, Rob's here. I thought you were supposed to be on an airplane, Rob.
Well, I'm making my way to LA.
Yeah. We're going to Builds. It's going bananas. Love you guys. Be good. We'll see you in about 5 minutes.
Thank you, guys.